Hello, hello, hello. Can't hear you. You're on mute.
How are you?
I am great. I'm glad you can make it.
Yes. You know what? It was divine.
Really.
Yes.
I can't wait to hear about it. We're gonna we're gonna have hold on one second. I'm trying to learn this machine here. Trying to give me one
Okay.
second. Make sure everything is working right. Make sure everything is working perfect. I'm trying to go live here in a second.
Okay.
Oh, let's see. We're gonna bring me back around. Can you hear me clearly?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let me get back. All right. All right. All right. Pause this right now. It's just terrible right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who else we have coming on? We have a couple young people coming on that's actually, if they show up, they're actually in this generation, so they can kind of speak to it. You know what I mean? So we got 2 more minutes. And we're gonna kick this thing off. Mhm. How you been, Miss Tony?
I have no complaints. I'm good. Thank you.
Good. Been a long time. Cool. So this will be it'll be recorded, so you can go back and rewatch it as many times as you like. Um, so you can share it with your friends when it's all done and said. Um, and hopefully we can grow from this and learn. We got to come up with some solutions somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have to do something. Something has we got to have this conversation. You know. All right, no one's trying to get back on. 1 more minute, we're gonna kick it off.
Can you hear me, Will?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Okay, I got you on the car phone now.
All
I mean,
right,
on the car speaker. Yeah, so I'm all set now.
all right. Yeah, Marcus Gray just kicked in. He's trying to kick in. Hey, Marcus. Marcus. Everybody knows how to use the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute. I'm gonna mute myself right now.
It's Gib. What's going on? Can you hear me? You see something's wrong with your audio. Yeah, your audio. Something wrong with your audio. I think we got it now. You there?
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey. What's happening, baby? How you doing?
Nothing much, man. I'm cool and I'm cool. Y'all doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fine.
That's
Doing
good.
well.
Miss Pace, Mr. Smith, how's it going?
Good today, sir.
All
Good.
right. All right. All right.
All right. We're gonna get off right now. Dave, kick
All
it,
right.
man.
All right. So, welcome to You Epic Podcast, where everything is here. I'm Dave Smith. The legendary William Hood. So You Epic is a mobile app that connects the hair care professional with their clients by booking appointments. So it's like a scheduler, but we have some back end stuff and some resources we're going to provide for the barbers when that part rolls out. Right now, we're in the beta stages. The app should be coming out another couple weeks or so. We're very excited. Been since November 29th, 2019, we've been working on this app, Will and I, and so we're pretty excited about this app. We try to create a community for the hair care professional. So we have resources to be able to grow besides just cutting hair or doing nail salons or doing the hair for hairdressers. Just try to create a community for them so they have a place where they can have a voice. or and have resources, access to them, instead of trying to figure out where and who and what. And so we try to just create that platform and that community environment. So if you want interested, go to uepic.biz. That's uepik.biz, and sign up on the website for the app. So when the app comes out, we can send you an email notification that this app is live in the Google Store and the Apple Store. And back to the legend, Mr. Hood. We can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now.
All right. I want to go around the table here and have everybody do a brief introduction. I mean, this, you can say as much as you want, but let's start with Mr. Gibbs at the bottom.
Yes, sir. My name is Javis Gibson, man. I'm the owner and inventor of multi-razor or multi-purpose tool that barbers use, that we all use. I'm not going to say barbers because it's becoming a household tool, personal tool now for guys, for beard grooming, hairline edge up grooming. Also the author of 24 Laws of Barbering. I'm the owner of New Beginners Barber College. Also the owner of Hot Shots Barber Lounge here in Brookhaven, Mississippi. Author of Plan and Purpose for Success. That's another book I went on the road, went on to write. Man, I'm just a barber. I'm just a barber in every.
Muted yourself.
And all of my wins are all behind barber, man. My main thing, my main job in life, and this is my prayer every day, man, is to wake up every day and inspire and encourage everyone to be successful and to win in life. If anybody want to check out any of my products, that's going to be www.javisgibson.com. I have my motor razor there. I have my books there. Just a short bio of who I am and things that I do. So that's about the size of it for me, William. I think we've been following each other for a while, man. So you know what I do, I represent what I stand for.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. How about Ms. Pace?
My name is Janet Pace, and I am a cosmetologist, but I prefer to do nails. I lived in Rochester for some time and moved to Florida, and now I'm in Houston, Texas.
Wow.
Don't know what you want to know, but that's it.
We just want to know what you want to tell us.
Yeah. So I'm a mother of four. My youngest one, was murdered. It'll be 6 years now, in August in Rochester. And I'm a grandmother of four. So,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah.
News. It's on you, man.
Without further ado, I want to say thank all you brothers and sisters. Can you guys hear me first and foremost? Okay, I'm going to keep my face disclosed because it's about the babies, and that's a beautiful thing. That's what we're here for, which is our future. But I just want to thank my brother William. I've known his brother all my life. I got his back, and I want to thank you all for being here as mothers and fathers and just brothers, having that love for the community. And Will call me Noon. That's my nickname. I grew up with that. When you call me that, it's like family. But my name is Felton Frost. I grew up in Rochester, New York. I reside in Houston, Texas right now. And, I'm CEO of Frequency Music Group, which is a beautiful music group that's led by my Baba Cole from the Egbe, Igun, our praises and, our praises and foremost to our creator and the angels that reaches in place in our ancestors. So I have to say thank you to that. And man, I'm just excited on this journey to feed our babies. We're here for that one purpose. I want to conclude by saying I thank you all for being here, whatever I can do for you guys. Without me closing, I want to say this. I want to thank Toby Butler, Dorian Comrell at A12 Invention, for doing their purpose and then coming out with Dip It brand. I'm part of that. I want to thank Ballard Hall with Marnock 44 being part of Psychager. I thank him for that. I want to thank Baba Cole with the Black Dot family. I want to thank Eastgate 329 and just everybody abroad. So let me shut my mouth and yeah, that's me. Let's go.
All right, thanks a lot, brother. Miss Tony, you're up.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tony Nelson. I live in Rochester, born and raised. I am a mother of two. My oldest, Michael, was murdered in 2014. My daughter, Deja, has blessed me with two grandsons, 2 years old and 1 years old. And so I'm very tired because they live with me. They live with me. Since Michael was murdered,
Okay.
I've started a foundation called M Squared Foundation for Peace and Social Change. M Squared because in '93, my husband, who's Michael's father, was also murdered in Rochester. Um, and what my hope is to work with children ages 5 and up to early teens to teach them life skills, conflict resolution, meditation, and mostly love. I feel that love is missing. When you love yourself, you love others. When you respect yourself, you respect others. So that is my mission. I quit my job of 17 years as a chemical operator to work at Pathstone in the young adult reentry program. And we service young people from 18 to 24 because I just felt like I wasn't accomplishing anything making chemicals for Head and Shoulders shampoo. I wanted to really be in the situation with the young people, supporting them and giving them someone else to be held accountable to. So that's me.
Awesome. Awesome. I want you guys to be relaxed. It's informal. Let's not make it so tight. Um, I think my son is about to jump on here. Okay, we're gonna start off with this. The question is, what is violence, right? We got to define it before we can deal with it. So, David, go ahead and take
All
it
right,
from
so
here, man.
violence. So it's behavior involving physical force intended to hurt, damage, or kill someone or something. Strength or emotion or an unpleasant or destructive natural force. The unlawful exercise of physical force or intimidation by exhibition of such force.
All right. So, by that definition, I'm pretty sure all of us have experienced that one way or the other, right?
Right.
So, there are different types of other violence that we actually deal with that we don't normally think about, right? Even though today we're going to narrow it down to a few things, there are different types of violence, right, Dave? You found out how
Right.
many
So,
is it?
so there's nine type of violence they have on record on the fact sheet. So it's physical violence, there's sexual violence, there's emotional violence, there's psychological violence, there's a spiritual violence, there's a cultural violence, a verbal abuse, financial abuse, and neglect.
Wow. Can anybody relate to that? Any of those?
Well, I just learned something. I never thought about um, financial abuse being a thing of violence. But when you think about it, it is.
Yeah.
You can really violate. You can really violate finances.
So the definition of that is a financial abuse occurs when someone controls an individual's financial resources without the person's consent or
Okay.
misuses those resources.
Oh, okay. All right. And see, I received it as a thing where we get a blessing or we get money and we misappropriate it.
You could apply that.
Okay, that's kind of where I thought about it. But yeah.
Can I chime in, brother?
Yeah,
You guys
anytime.
don't.
Anytime.
All right. Will, how deep can we go? All due respect. Is this how open is this discussion?
It's wide open. We just limited on time. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. All right. Real quick. All these vineyards of violent behavior. We're talking about behavior here, which is character, and we're talking about the mental process. Everything equates to what our ancestors went through, which is slavery. We're carrying on their pain, their hurt, everything that we've been robbed of and stripped. Our thinking is not of our true cultural thinking. Our thinking has been manifested over a time called adaptation, which we are trained and manipulated to think like them. I'm sorry, I said it. The system, those who control the system I'm not going to name any name. We ain't got to talk about the Vaticans, the 12 families and all that shit. We know who them is. So it's a mental process that what we call Dr. C, deconstruct, reconstruct, construct. I'll give you a prime example of this mental process that's been enslaved upon us, and we're not in our natural cultural thinking. If a naked woman, Black in general, walk down the street naked, over here in the wilderness of North America, South America, and Central America, the children would be perverted in their mind and probably pointing at her breasts and saying different things. The men will probably get aroused, and you guys know, I ain't got to go through all these dynamics. I'm gonna try to keep it as much rated, Will. But you go to our original culture, you take it to other countries, the Black woman can walk around, and the children mindset is those are the breasts that nurture the nation. The men respect their wives. The brothers that walk down the streets or the villages, when they see each other, they speak. So brothers, sisters, we have been robbed. And I'm glad these things like this take place, because it's us elders that say hell to the no. We come together collectively in peace, each one teach one, positive education, always correct errors. And that's my Russell Simmons. We got work to do. Love you, Will. Love y'all. Let's go, baby. I love this.
I totally agree with that, brother, right there, man. I really, Noons, man. I pray that one day, man, you could cross paths and meet, man, because what you just said was exactly, and man, it's exactly what's going on. It's exactly what's going on, man. We've been robbed of, and I'm writing a book right now. I won't speak up because I haven't filed all the copyrights to it, because I'm still writing on this book. But one of the things that I'm speaking on in this book is the fact that this is not us. This is not who we are. This is not what we do. I heard Miss, what is it, I. Nelson? That's what the screen says, Miss I. Nelson. I didn't catch her name because I was fixing me up.
Miss Tony.
Okay. What's her name?
Tony.
Miss Tony. Miss Tony used the word a while ago when she was explaining some of the things that she had went through with murders and that, of her loved ones. But here's the thing: the key word with that was she said love, and the problem that we're having is hate. We have self-hate towards one another. We have self-hate towards ourselves, and which in turn causes us to hate everyone and everything around us. All right, I don't believe that violence can be inflicted towards nobody where love exists. You see, so one of the problems, the biggest problem that we're having is love. I cannot keep my hands to I cannot hurt a person I love. You see what I'm saying? So in each act of violence that we have witnessed, each act of violence that we hear about, each act of violence that goes on is triggered through hate, because I cannot, me or nobody else can hurt another person if love exists in that department. You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing, but we're operating out of so much hate, and I'm not talking about 30 or 40 years of hate. I'm talking about over 400 years of hate, 400 years of anger, 400 years of confusion, over 400 years of manipulation, and all these things that we've been through, and all of these different emotions that has compounded upon us as a people and trickles on down into a community. This is why we're acting out this way. This is why violence is such a part of our, I won't say our DNA, but it has become a part of our lifestyle. And that's what it is, because we're acting out. We're acting out. And until I'm a barber. I'm in the barbershop almost every day. And the biggest question now is, how do we fix it? And that's the scariest part, because we're dealing with a generation now. We're dealing with a generation now of young kids who's been influenced by rap music. They're being influenced by the drug dealers of their community. They're being influenced by so many other things that make it seem like it's okay to carry a gun, to pick up a gun and inflict violence or inflict harm to their fellow brother. You see? So until we can restore love within our community, until we can restore love and represent that towards one another, we are in trouble because this is not who we are. We are God's children. You know, we're God's children. So I know that there's love there. But because we've been through so much, because we go through so much, because we're so suppressed, it creates a mentality. It creates a mentality to make us act out in the way that we do. And the book that I'm writing now, and just to share a little bit with you all, I think the only way that we can get this fixed, the only way that we can correct this is to take everything that they gave us and everything that they said we were and everything that every way that they made us and every emotion that they pushed upon us and reverse that. We have to find a way to reverse. We got to help our brothers understand that you weren't born violent, you were made violent. You weren't born poor, you were made poor. You understand? You weren't born confused, you were made confused. You weren't born suppressed, you were made suppressed. Once we come out of that, once we understand that, hey, you got more control of this thing than you think you do. This is not the way it has to be. But we got to force that thinking. We got to push that thinking onto our brothers and sisters for them to know, no, it's nothing normal about welfare. The book I'm writing is to help them understand welfare was created to take the man completely out of the picture. Welfare was designed so that, you know, you mean to tell me that, okay, Mr. Government, you could give me a place to stay in a low income area, but if you walk in and find my child's father's shoes in the house, we get kicked out. Now, a mother being a mother, a mother being a mother to her child, her first thing is survival and self-preservation for her and her child. So she may have to tell this man, look here, Javis. They're saying that if you stay here, then we can't stay here. So, you know, just see about going over by your mom for a little while until we can get this thing fixed out, or figured out. And there, the man is out the picture. Now,
hey, King, King.
Go ahead.
Hey, I love you, brother. Let me hold that baton. My spirit agree with yours. You on fire. I feel it in you. Let me hold that baton. We have to learn how to show to one another and read each other. And I'm giving, you know, let me hold that baton and you done put the baby to sleep. You done fed the baby. I love it. I love it. You hit the nail in the head. So let me just put the grandma blanket on the baby while the baby sleeps.
Go ahead.
Because you went to another topic that I love, King. Well, let's go mathematics. Let's do it the first topic, and you ask, how do we fix it? We start in-house with ourselves. Everything starts with the elders.
Right.
The next generation under the true elders right now is us, the brothers and sisters in this room. So we pick up the baton from there and clean our own house up first. How can you go into the community? How can you go into the community when your own house smells like shit? The community don't want that.
Right.
So, brother, mathematically, we look in the mirror, we clean ourselves up first. We connect with our creator, you know what I mean, what we do within a culture, you know, we change our mindset first. First, we have to recognize who we are. See, that's the key. Do you know who you are?
Mm-hmm.
Then once you realize who you are, and you can use all the fancy words, he and you and I and you, forget those titles, baby. We real in here now. We done been all through all the hallelujah, the praises, the Islam, the 5% nation. See, I can speak on all of that because I was that. And I still am that, and I'm not speaking against none of that because all of that is what made me. William Hood went on a long journey with me. That brother holds a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But let's not get off topic. We start with ourselves, brother, with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Okay?
Yeah.
And even with ourselves, it's the same process. I said it this way. Dr. C, we deconstruct what was put up over us, the mindset. It's a simple process. We know up and down, left and right, right from wrong.
Right.
So we have to sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Give up the bullshit, give up the anger. So you go through the deconstruction process.
Right.
And then the reconstruction is what we're doing right now. We're already deconstructed by planting a seed in the soil. So right now we're fertilizing it, watering it, singing to that baby. So when the plant comes up, now it's time to construct. They ready. So what we do, in a nutshell, we go through that process. Now we're ready to give it to the next generation. And when they reach that construction stage, they ready, baby. They're not blemished no more. So we got to walk this thing out, and let's deal with a balance. If it took 400 years of pressure, it's going to take another 400 years to depressurize this thing.
Right.
So let's walk this thing out, baby.
I'm all the way with that. I just told some guys at the shop. Before I ran out. There is hope. My greatest fear, I think the biggest problem I have with it, that I would love to live long enough to see it change. But there's so much damage and so much work that got to be done. Maybe I won't. But as long as I know I laid a foundation, as long as I know I gave the blueprint as much as I could for us to get it right, and that's all right with me.
You'll see it, brother. I'm gonna say one more thing, and I'm gonna shut my mouth. You'll see. You know how they got HD and all these pixels and all this high definition? Because there's no such thing as death. Okay, so you shall live on, but you'll see it in a different, what you call perception, a different celestial. So you'll see it in beyond HD, baby. You'll see it.
Right. I got you.
I think that it's important just to communicate with those who are in your sphere of influence, because you're not going to reach every single person. And I think that's a misconception that we have, is that we got to save the world.
Right.
When you realize that what you have isn't for everybody, right?
Right.
And if you're focusing if you're focusing on people that you know are not listening, then you're wasting your breath. Then that's when it's time to say, you know what? You know, it's just like what Jesus said, dust your feet off. If they don't accept it, you got to dust your feet off, take back your peace and keep going.
Yeah.
So we out here giving our peace to everybody, and everybody's not, I'm not going to say they're not worthy of it. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say they're not ready for it. They're not ready. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So instead of trying to focus on those who are just knuckleheads and who out here doing whatever they want to do, we got to focus on the ones who allow for God to give you that discernment of who it should be. You know what I mean? Because he knows how he's softening their hearts. He knows what he put inside of them. So you should be a confirmation to somebody's life to let them, let me put you on the right path. When you come into their life, they like, oh my goodness, you are the answer to my prayer. So to me, the answer is pray, teach people what obedience is, and be obedient. Because I don't care if we trying to give the whole world everything. If they're not being obedient to it, it's not gonna happen. So showing them what love looks like, what real love is, not just an affection. Of course, you want to be affectionate to people, but to show them what real love is and what fruit that they're supposed to have, then love is already part of that. So, like I said, if you discern that this person is open, then you go ahead on and tell them, show them what it is, that how they're supposed to. We're not responsible for their response, but we are responsible to give them the knowledge. So give them what you know, show them how to use it, because a lot of people don't know the how. It's like you could tell somebody, go get a job. Well, I don't even know what a job is. I don't even know how to fill out an application. How do I do that? Those type of things should be set into place to start. Get them where they are, what their need is. What are they needing? You know, and then how we present it to people is how they're gonna receive it. So if you coming at somebody rah, you know what I mean? Or this what you need to do, that's you blocking them. But if you come with them with the love that agape, and you showing them that you have patience and you're long suffering with them. You know, you going through it with them. Find out, what do they need? Okay, if they never had a father, how can you come to them as a father? You know, like you were saying that you know, women had to put the men out because of the welfare system. So now the children don't have a father, but they still could have in that situation if the mom and the father were able to communicate that. Okay, even though you're not in the home, and this is what we got to do for right now, because I've been in that situation. This is what we got to do for right now. You go live over there, you get yourself together, get what you need to do to be a provider for your family, because you're still a man. And that's what your role is to do, is to provide and to protect, right? Just because you can't do it in this situation doesn't mean that you don't do it. Show up still, you know? And so work it out. It's ways of, it's just like Noons was saying, it's your mindset. How are we thinking about these things? How are we thinking about it? You're not here, but you need to be here. You need to come get your kids, take them to your house, do what you need to do for them, show them what it's like and have that agreement. Because the word says, how can two agree to walk together unless they agree? So we shouldn't be I mean, I know this is what life is, but if you're not preparing yourself to move forward and to forget what's behind you, because that's another thing too. We get caught up into, yes, you need to know your history, but at some point, right, you have to become responsible for your present and your future.
Okay.
I love it. I love it, Sister Pace. You know, she spoke about something that came scripture-wise to me. Brother Will and I, we walked through Christianity and a long walk together. And I love the 66 books. I love the Word of God. You know, I chew the meat, spit out the bones. But the scripture, you know, remind me of become all things to all men. You know, and you know the way to reach people is to show them that you care about. You have to show that care. You know, and another thing that stood out that she said is very important, that we have to know when, you know, we have to be within season, when to speak and when not to speak. You know, I remember when me and Will first kind of got on fire, that what you call that zeal, that young love for you know, for God and Christianity. We were just running with the gospel, talking to the gangsters, talking to the middle class, corporate class. We didn't care. We didn't care. We didn't care. We was effective, ineffective, up, down, left, right. We was carrying that thing. But we learned through that process to slow down, let go, and let God. And to sum it up, I love how she put it in parallel to how we must do it. You know, we start within ourselves first. So we have true peace, true agape love, which is unconditional, within ourselves first. Now let's pass that torch to the community, to the babies. Let's feed them first. Jesus always fed. He, you know, Yeshua. I love calling him Yeshua. Okay, he always fed before he spoke. He showed them love. You know, and you know, we try to make this thing hard, but he showed a perfect example. You know what I mean? He said it, when you have seen me, you have seen the Father. You talking about the characteristic, the love. You know, we make it so hard. You know, and I thank you guys, and yeah, let's keep it going. We'll keep it going, brother. Yeah.
All right. Thank y'all for your comments. I mean, I'm sitting trying to write all this stuff down.
Yeah, I'm taking notes too, Will. I'm taking notes too, man. There's some real good stuff in there. I love that the fact that she brought. I love the fact that she brought up the fact that, you know, and the word tells us, cast not that which is holy unto swine, lest they'll turn and trample you. You see what I'm saying? Everybody has to be, each and every one has to be in a receiving mind state. They have to want it. They have to want to know it. They have to want to grow. So, yeah, it's important that we not throw that which is holy in the pig's pen. This is good word. It's holy word. It's pure. And it's just like with anything else, not just the word. Any form of knowledge that God has given me, any form of wisdom that God has blessed me with, I'm real careful about who I give it to, because that one verse helps me understand that the knowledge and wisdom that has been bestowed upon me is valuable and it's holy. And he's told me, don't throw this in the pig's pen. Cast not that which is holy unto swine. And it don't have to be a word out of the Bible. It don't have to be a scripture. It doesn't have to be a verse. But anything that's holy, anything that's pure, anything that's wholesome, you hold on to that and you give it to people who want it. You don't just throw it away and give it away.
That's awesome. Awesome. That's true. 100%. I got a question to ask everybody, right? I want you to be honest now. I want you to think about this. How have we shifted our lives, right, around violence? Like, think about the violence that's happened to you, how you shifted. I can start with myself. And maybe some of y'all haven't shifted. I owned a barbershop for 18 years over on South Plymouth Avenue, right? And when I first got over there, everything was cool, whatever the case, but things got a little rough. You know, then my wife came on, my son was there. So I had to make choices, right? Because I am a father, I'm a husband, so I had to make choices that would be in their best interest, right? So I did the extreme opposite. I went from the hood all the way out to almost a rural area to put my shop out in Chilai. Was it the best move? Don't know. Love the place. We still thrived. But I thought about it. And I said to myself, was it out of fear? Was it a responsibility of mine that I had to take on? But my life did shift because of hearing and seeing people being shot, killed, robbed. When I got to Chilai, I have clients that stopped coming to me earlier. I couldn't understand why. I mean, valuable customers. And they told me that either they got robbed coming or robbed going,
Wow.
right? So, but I didn't know none of this stuff was going on. You know, I'm cutting in the shop 12 hours. I don't even go outside for fresh air. You know what I mean? So it's like, then you have female clients, you know, with my wife or whatnot, saying they're being approached either sexually or to buy drugs. So now it's gonna lead into my next questions about business, how it affects business. But that's my spiel on uh, how I shifted my life. And see, by myself, I can really be placed anywhere and kind of adapt. But when you're dealing with my wife, my kids, and things that are precious to me, I'm very overly aggressively protective of them. You know what I mean? So that's why I move from one extreme to the next. So that's how crime, not crime, but violence has made me shift. Can anybody speak to that?
Well, I don't see what the um same thing. It's like you have to do what's best for you at the end of the day, right? And like we've been saying, what if, even though, you know, Joshua was with the tax collectors and all of those people, he knew that he had already called them. So he knew what he was involved in, right? So, and he knew it was going to be trouble. But to put yourself in an environment where it is trouble, that's not beneficial to you or them. You know what I mean? Because they're not gaining anything. So to do it, to protect your family, yes, it made all the sense, you know? And just because being a good person or being a godly person doesn't mean that you have to take everything on. You don't have to take everything. That might not have been your assignment. There are people who are assigned to, you know, we're assigned to specific things. So that just wasn't your assignment. That's how I look at it.
Okay. Anybody else had to shift their lives because of violence?
You know what, William, the first barbershop I had was a lot like what you were saying. My first barbershop was in a pretty bad neighborhood. And one day we were inside cutting hair. All me and all the barbers was inside cutting hair, and there's you know, right in front of the shop, it's like two big bay windows, and guys are always outside playing, especially the kids after school. it was like they would always be outside horse playing, or sometimes outside horse playing right in front of the window. Well, this particular day, my partner Jason stepped outside in the shop cutting hair and listening to music and everything. You just by people always being outside horse playing. We look outside, we see a little skirmish, but never think nothing of it. Jason runs back into the barbershop asking somebody for a pistol, like, yo, who got a gun? Who got a gun? We're like, what's going on? Well, two dudes had just robbed him right at the door, like right outside.
Wow.
Had just robbed little Jason,
Really?
had just robbed Jason right at the door of the barbershop. Now it just so happened that like a couple of days later, we were trying to get ready to go to Brother Brother. But I told my business partner when we left that weekend, bro, when we get back, we leave. Because it came too close to me. It came too close to me. I mean, I sympathize with Jason. I sympathize with Jason. I don't want to see that happen to nobody, but that came too close to me. And we got out of there, man. And it wasn't a thing about fear. But here's the thing. Sometimes God has a way of creating a push. Okay. It's not about a fear. It's not about being fearful, but sometimes we're pushed out of situations to be pushed into another. And so no, violence has pushed me into being a better person. Because, and I tell people all the time, and my dad, I grew up, my dad was an addict. This was around the crack era. And something about cocaine made him real violent, you see. And when it comes to violence, it's the last thing I ever want to see or be around. I tell people all the time, if I didn't learn nothing else from my dad, I learned who I didn't want to be. I learned what I didn't want to do. You see what I'm saying? But that's what violence will push you. Violence pushed me into being a better person because I never want, even to this day, when I see people arguing, it's like I'm the first one to leave because it vexes my spirit bad. Just the argument is enough to make me leave. If I go somewhere and I see people crowding up, I'm gone because I know what comes with that, and it's just one of those things. So it's a push. Okay. It's a push. So William, I don't think you ran in fear or left in fear. I think it was a push for you to better yourself. And whether y'all know it or not, now I know God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but fear does exist. And I think by nature, I know by nature, there's a thing called an instinct. When we know something's not right, I watch a lot of Animal Planet, and I was watching this thing the other day where the gazelle was in the bush, and the jaguar was in the bush too, but you could tell the gazelle just could not get comfortable. Now he didn't know where the jaguar was, but he knew something wasn't right. And before the jaguar could pounce, the gazelle just took off like, hey, I'm out of here because this ain't right. See, fear was designed to save your life. Okay? Now, we cannot allow fear to stagnate us enough to where we can't win. We cannot, because fear is definitely a thing, but it's not a fear to where you want to say, well, I'm afraid to make this next investment, or I'm afraid to, I don't know if I want to give this particular person a chance at a relationship, but it's definitely designed for you to make a move.
Okay. Yes, fear. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, because when I was watching the video the other night, and I noticed that the gazelle he just couldn't get comfortable. And when you just can't get comfortable, let that fear push you away. It's okay.
Yeah, man, wow. I love y'all. I mean, what can I say? Brother Marcus, you hit that word, instinct. Instinctively, we all have that fear, but we have that fear that God instilled within us. It's that fear to fight, that fear to push, that fear to use wisdom. See, that's where we got to be careful, because somebody told me one day, noon, your anger is good, but use wisdom with it.
Right.
Yeah, man, Will knows my journey. And my push, like the brother Marcus said, it was instinctive. Growing up in a family of gangsters with a brother of 5, something was in me through all of that darkness. And I remember Mal, Will's son, he ministered on stage with me. Okay. And this is what Mal This is what Mal spoke with me. I'll give you a testimony. Let's take it back to 71. At 6 months old, I should have been done. I was told by dear mama that my head was up under the gun. The devil tried to take me out the first year I was born. But it is written, there is no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So I ain't worried about the flurry Satan throws, bring it on. As a child I grew up corrupt, my mind was struck. Daddy told us in this world we had to fight and be tough. Sure enough, because living in the hood, hitting the streets was rough. Every day we had to battle and it never let up. Till someone give up, crack, bang, clash, cut, slit up, or they get hit up. This is big up to my G.O.D. from saving me from the S-T-R-E-E to the T.
Yes, sir.
Man, you already know what time it is, Will. Man,
That's
bro.
what's
Yes,
up.
yeah,
That's what's
yeah.
up.
Doubt.
Man, I tell you, bro, I did not want to leave the shop today. I had a few more. I had a few more clients I could have got, man. But man, money came by this, bro. Money came by this, man. And
Glad
then,
you came.
you know, the thing about it is, what we're sharing is way more valuable than money, way more valuable than gold. There is no dollar amount on wisdom. There is no dollar amount on knowledge. And man, I'm glad I was able to join in. I'm glad I was chosen. I'm glad I was chosen to be a part of this, man. As far as this violent thing, as far as this violence, Noons, I think we're gonna have to push love. We're gonna have to push love. We're gonna have to push love. The youngsters need us. They need to feel it. They need to know that someone cares, because it's just an act out. It's not who we are. And I think that's the only way we can fix this. I grew up in a violent home, so as far as I'm concerned, it's the last thing I want around me. And I preach that in the shop. I thank God for my platform every day, just to be in the barber shop like there's no other place. Because I tell barbers all the time, Will know I'm a motivational speaker. I go out and speak all over America. And one of the main things I tell, I tell my listeners is, I love. I express it. It's just the thing. It's just my thing. Like, you gotta love. If you're gonna honor anybody, if you're gonna be loyal to anything, it's gonna come through love first.
That's
You
true,
know?
man. That's
So
true.
that's what we gotta do, fellas, man. If we're gonna fix the situation, Will, tell me, what do you think? Do you think we stand a chance? Do you think there's a fix for this? Do you think that the violence will stop? How long do you think it'll take? I think my thing is, I want to see some results, man. I'm sick of it.
Can I just say this?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ooh, when you said that, this is what it is. This is what needs to happen. We need to take our focus off of what is wrong and put it on. The word says, think on these things. So if I'm always thinking about this stuff, that's the violence and the this and the that, and I'm not thinking about the goodness, we done missed it. That's where we miss it at. Who do you see in your community that's a good kid, or that is doing something good? Are we telling them, you know what, you're doing a great job, keep up the good work, what you need me to do, where can I step in at? Where can I help you at? You know, instead of like, oh, look at these, sorry. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's human nature to be negative. It takes work to be positive.
Right.
It takes work to do it.
Yeah.
You have to change your mindset and the way that you think about things and the way that you approach things. But it all starts, like Noon said, with us. Am I willing to do the work? Because do I want to look at my ugliness? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I really look at myself in the mirror, and what am I looking at? Or am I just trying to plaster something on to be, whatever, or, I'm gonna just put the makeup on to cover this, or I'm gonna just put on this to cover it, instead of looking at it and saying, oh my goodness.
I need to fix this.
Right, because we all fall short. We all fall short. We all fall short.
That's a fact.
But when we're looking, the love all begins with God, because that's who he is. He's
Right.
loved. And so if what needs to happen is I got to fix my relationship with him. I got to get in his presence. I got to get into know who I am in him. And so that way I can move forward. So I know since my son passed, I have been, okay, when my son, 3 days before my son was murdered, I had a dream. And in the dream, I was on the street that he was murdered on Portland. I was driving behind this car, and all of a sudden, the person like shot out of the car going up. And I stopped the car and I'm watching, and they ended up landing on the like the seat and everything, like he was holding on to the seat coming out of the car. And I was like, oh my goodness. So when it landed, when the person landed, it was my son in the seat. And when it leaned to the side, he was dead. And I jumped out of my sleep. I was like, no. I went to praying and everything else. And then my nephew called me 3 days later, and he was screaming and saying, Auntie, somebody shot your son. I said, wait a minute. And he's screaming and he talking to the officer and fussing, and, and I said, I'm going to have to call you back. I'm going to have to call you back. So I hung up the phone and I immediately began to pray. And I said, Lord, I need clarity. I need to know what is happening. Show me. Show me. And so I called my daughter and I called my other son, and I was like, okay, this is what's going on. I said, but when you go, don't do anything. Just find out what's happening. Stay calm. And so my son, he was like, okay, Mom. My daughter was like, okay. And then everybody posting it up all on Facebook. I didn't know what was happening. And I found this out afterwards. But in the meantime, I was like, wringing my hands, and I'm going, okay, all right. And it kept taking hours and hours, and nobody was calling me. And so I called my daughter. She said, no, Mom, we don't know. She said, everybody's out here, but we don't know. And I said, okay. So when she called me finally, she said, Mom, I hate to have to tell you this. And I said, okay. And I felt like water on top of my head, and it just flew right through me. And I was so at peace. I was so at peace. I was like, and so a friend of mine was at my house with me, and she was like, Janet, do you know what Candace is saying? And I said, yes, Shadi is dead. I said, and it's okay. She said, I'm gonna slap you. It's not okay. Somebody killed your son. I said, it is okay. And she said, I'm gonna slap you. I said, and I'm gonna slap you back. She said, because you're not, doesn't make sense, Janet. You're not. And I was like, listen.
It's okay.
It is okay.
Yeah.
So, oh, I'm sorry.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Let me say this. I love you. It's not okay. Listen, we go agree to disagree, because we're going to deal with two sides of the scale. I'm going to give you a testimony. Let me tell you something for you to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Will know me, 26 Durand Street. When the police came around there and beat my ass because I came out to deal with my nephew who got out of jail and slapped my auntie Rose, who was 60-something years old on blood transfusion. I asked him what happened, and he went with that gangster shit, talking about don't run up on me with this and that. Before he got done with the first sentence, I slammed the shit out of him and let him know, don't play. Picked him up, brushed his back off, told him go home. Speed the story up, the police was called on me. The first cop was a female cop. She asked me what happened. I told her the story. She said, I would have did the same thing. You protected your aunt. Well, then we got these devils, okay? I don't classify devil as a color. I classify devil as an action. So these other devils come up, and after talking to them, he told me to come on a public sidewalk. I already knew what time it was. He wanted to lay hands on. Well, I started speaking my constitutional rights, and I called 911 because I know my laws. Before I could finish, he rushed me. Okay, the phone went flying. Everything was recorded. I could have had a lawsuit. I went flying through my auntie's door. About 6 or 7 of them came in, pepper sprayed me. I couldn't breathe. They beat me. I had to wrestle myself up to a prong position of what we call submission. Like, I'm not fighting back. Stop beating me. Take me to jail. Let me tell you something, Mrs. Pace, Sister Pace. The fire within me from our children, okay? The fire within me from our past is not okay. I'll tell you why. When I sat behind in that police car, pepper sprayed all in my nose and my eyes, I couldn't bleed. Broken bones, blood coming out through my nose and my mouth. We'll know my brothers. They weren't around there. It rains on the just as well as the unjust. If my brother was around there, y'all would have heard it on the news. I couldn't breathe in the back of that car. It was 95 degrees in Rochester. Y'all know how Rochester is. So that's 100 and something in a police car. They got no AC in there and they got all the windows up. I couldn't breathe. So I'm throwing up blood on the window to get somebody attention. But here's the message. The Spirit spoke to me and said, calm down. I got you. Relax. Take your shoes off in time. All of a sudden, all of the young men that got killed, Trayvon Martin, Westbrook's son, Will, you know Westbrook, your son, sister, all of them spirits flashed before me. And I said, these damn devils is killing our people, innocent people. Here I am protecting my aunt. I ain't do nothing to nobody. I did my bad, and I was about to die for a good cause. It's not okay. So what we're going to do about it, we're going to let go and let God. Because there's things in the celestial that's taking place as we speak, like these meetings right here are a pain that the angel, the Rishas, things is about to change. So, sister, your son is always living. You know that. No such thing as death. But it's not okay. It's not okay. Your son was a warrior. And if he was standing today, you think he'll say, Mom, that shit is okay? Hell no. Hell no to the no. You know how I know? Because I'm looking at a warrior.
Yeah.
It's not okay. But let it be okay. I'm sorry. Let me end it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Let it be okay for you and your healing process of letting it go like you did. Let us take care of that. It's not okay. I got you. I got you, sister. Go ahead, Will.
Well, my son was actually murdered by another young man, another young Black man. He just, but what I was saying, it was okay because I know that God gave me the peace. That's what was okay.
Right.
And so right then they didn't find out who did it, but eventually they did. And of course, everybody want to, have their say, and that's fine. But I told everybody, I told my family, we're not going to get involved with anything, nothing. Don't go to no trial, don't go to no nothing, because God is going to work it out, because that's what he told me. And he gave me instruction on what to do. I did a Jericho march in my kitchen. Every day for 7 days, I marched around my kitchen, and the verdict came in after the 7th day, and he was found guilty.
Oh.
Wow.
And so, like this is, because I'm a woman of faith, and I'm definitely a prayer warrior, and I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God hears my prayer. He answers me every single time. I've never seen him fail. So that was my okay.
Yeah.
That's my okay.
That's what's up.
Wow.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was when I was telling Nooms. I don't think you were saying that the violence was okay, but you were saying you were okay and peaceful with the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Because
My bad. Will. I'm sorry, bro.
We have to certain situations,
Nah,
if we're
good.
gonna heal, if we're gonna get
Good.
past it, it has to be okay. It has to be okay. A lot of things we have to understand that it's God's will, and we have to be accepting and receiving of His will. The big question in the barbershop is, if God is real, what I think this is the big question. I hear it in the barbershop in everywhere. If God is real, why did He allow these things to happen? The only answer I have for that is to say is because God is God. And my sister had a son last week out in Atlanta that suffered violence, and I said, well, sis, we're gonna pray about it. She was like, and her first thing was, I don't even want to talk about that part of it, this, that, and that. I said, well, sis, here's the thing. We all have to understand that we are angels of God first, and we're God's children first. And if your son was outside playing basketball, and before the lights went out, and they was playing basketball, and you went to the door and said, hey, Xavier, come on in the house. Nobody, you don't care how good the game is. You don't care if it's only 2 more points to be scored before the game was over. You don't care about nothing. I said, come in the house. You're his mother. When God calls us home, that has to be all right for everybody because we're God's child first. And when he say come in the house, it's time to go in the house. And he don't owe nobody no explanation for that. And everybody has to be okay with that. Mm-hmm. Because he don't care what, God is God all by himself. And he owes none of us an explanation for anything. And when he calls us home, he calls us in the house, no matter who's shooting basketball, no matter who's cutting the grass, no matter who's sitting on the stoop talking to a little girl, it doesn't matter. Come in the house because I said so. Mm-hmm. And everybody has to be okay with it.
And the thing is that people don't understand there are 2 systems at work here. And so when you make the choice, right, because Adam and Eve, they got the knowledge of good and evil. So the knowledge of 2 systems is happening right here. So it's the choice. They chose to eat of the fruit, to be disobedient, right? So that was their choice. We all have choices. So with choices, and I would teach this, what I teach my kids, with choices, right? If you do your choice is reward or consequence. If you say you want reward, if you want to do the good, right thing, there's a reward for you. Of course, you're going to enjoy the reward because it's 9 times out of 10 going to be something that you want or something that you like. But with the consequence, you don't have control over that. Because if you slap somebody, you think they might slap you back, but they might pull a gun on you. They might stab you. They might do something, or they might wait and get you 2 weeks from now. But you don't know, but you're going to always be looking over your shoulder. So what system are you in right now? What system are you choosing? So we all have our choices,
We're going to smooth segue in before, because Tony got to run, right? Smooth segue into, Tony, you can tell your story if you got time to do so.
Okay, I have time to tell my story. Where do you want me to start? I don't know.
Wherever you want to start. Get you comfortable with. Yep.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't mind talking. So I married my high school sweetheart, Michael, who then became a Marine and served in Desert Storm, came home, got ready to re-enlist in the reserves, and he was murdered by 2 gentlemen because they thought he was somebody else. Mistaken identity, I guess. That's what they say. Fast forward, that was in 93. Fast forward 2014, our son was sleeping at a friend's house, and they call it wrong place, wrong time. I call it BS. I feel like if you're not doing nothing, you should be able to be wherever you at without any problems. And he was murdered in his sleep. And I respect all these opinions. Miss Pace, I almost cried when you told me, told us the story about your dream and then your son. I literally, it was triggering for me because it took me back. At noon, with the ancestors. I'm right there with him. Um, I can't say I'm at the point where it's okay. It's not okay for me, but that's just where I am in my journey. Um, I'm healing by trying to help others. If I can save just that one, I know I can't save them all. I can't save everybody, but if I can save just that one for now, I'm okay. So I'm involved in several. I'm involved in different associations. Rise Up Rochester, that's my support group we had earlier today, actually, which is a bunch of family members or moms who've lost children. We have a couple dads that log on, which I think is really important because it seems like it's really hard for men to show emotion and to share emotion, and that worries me a little bit because our men they often get left behind, as far as their mental health. We expect them to be strong all the time. Nobody can be strong all the time. It's not doable because you're gonna crack, you're gonna break down, and it's probably at the worst time ever. Nevertheless, so like I said, my healing journey is helping people, trying to be there for people, young people, and just doing my best to be my best. My son, my kids are different. I'm a different type of person. I would tell my children, I will go to jail or the cemetery for you. Period. It no ifs, ands, or buts. I look very good in orange, actually. I don't have a problem with it. They know mom, mom is gonna act a fool when it comes to her too, you know, and I had to explain to my daughter that is in life or in death. My son is gone physically, but I will continue his legacy, which is why I've had a peace garden rededicated in his name. You know, there's a sign up there. We redid a mural that says because I matter, still I rise. So, because I want to, my whole mission is to make people understand that no matter how bad it gets, there's a ray of sun somewhere. I don't care how much it rains, the sun is going to come back out and you can smile again, you know. So that's where I'm at in my journey, just trying to make people understand, you know, it's going to be okay. Maybe not today and maybe not tomorrow, but you will get through. I'm not saying get over. I'll never get over the death of my child. I carried him. He was the first person to know what my heartbeat sounded like from the inside. So I'll never get past that, but I will keep his name alive and I will keep his legacy alive. And as long as people hear my voice, they will hear his name, Michael Wayne Nelson Jr., you know, and know what he
Where's the
meant.
mural? Where's the mural located at?
Right on the corner of Chilai and Thurston. It's on the side of a building right at the Peacemaker Community Garden.
Is that your garden that you made?
Well, the garden was there long before me.
Okay.
It was dedicated to two young men who had drowned around New Year's. And what I did was I wanted to buy a lot from the city to redo it for my husband and son. And the city and the red tape. And so I got pissed and called the mayor and I was like, listen, y'all got all these empty lots. Why can't I have a lot?
Right.
She's like, hold on, let me figure something out. I'll get back to you. And the garden at the time was in disrepair. The lady who used to take care of it, Roxy Sinkler, which the rec center on Gardner is named after her, she had passed away. So there wasn't really a lot going on or it wasn't being taken care of. So the mayor suggested, which I also think it was a challenge, she suggested that I take over that one. And I rose to that challenge and I redid it and we had it rededicated in 2017 in my son's name. And I take care of it through my foundation. I make sure it's landscaped, flowers, everything else. So that's my labor of love for my son.
Beautiful.
Because
That's right across from the
right
bank,
across
right?
from the bank, I live off of Chilai. I've lived over here 40, 41 years. So this is my hood. So to be able to turn a corner and see that garden, and see that sign with my son's name on it, to see that mural, it makes my heart happy. So that's my mission, is to keep that up. If you're sitting at that light, you've had a bad day and you look up and you see, because I matter, still I rise. How can you not smile?
Right.
You know, because you do matter. And no matter what you're going through, you will rise above it. You know, and I just want anybody who rides through there, I want them to know that and understand that and believe it.
Wow.
My heart is with you, sister. Um, Will, this is what I want to do. I put my number for everybody to take down. Um, let's what I want to do, because I have a nice foundation networking of people. What I want to do for everybody, loved ones, our legacy. I don't want no one in this room to say I won, I tried. Let's do it. Let's come together collectively and do what we have to do for each other. And you know, everybody gave a testimony, so we'll know my life. My father got killed when I was 7 years old, got gunned down by his best friend. So he left my mom to be a father and a mother to us 5 boys, knucklehead boys. So I just want to remind everyone that English language is not our normal language. One word can mean 5 different things. So when we say okay, let's deal with the balance here. Same feeling that my brother Marcus has when he say it's okay, and my sister Pace says it's okay. We understand that because we're forgiving people and we must accept and move on. You know what I mean? That's one of the characteristics that the Father has given us, the universe has given us. But the other side of this English language, when we say it's not okay, is the memory. That's a blessing within itself, that we're given this memory to remember our loved ones, and we can keep them with us and locked in so they will live forever in our spirit. But it's not okay, because that's the other side of it. We want to deal with the 66 books, which I love the word alone. It's a time for war, it's a time for peace. So what we must do within the not okay is what me and Brother Marcus and everybody's doing in this room. We're going to do something edifying to change things so that the next person's child, our younger brothers and sisters out there, don't get murdered by the hands of our own.
Yeah.
Okay? And I want to end by saying this. My daughter almost died, Will knows, about a couple of months ago. And it was a person involved. And I rocked with my sister. Where she at? I think she left. Did she leave yet?
Look, Tony's here.
No, she haven't left yet. The one that just testified about her son. I feel her pain. And when my daughter was in the hospital because a young man who I fed came into my house, lied to me, and said she won't be doing that stripping behind my back no more. I said, if my daughter don't make it out of the hospital alive, I'm killing you, the dog, the goldfish, and will know me. I meant that. I die for mine. I rock for mine. Watch the movie A Time to Kill. That's how I rock, baby.
Right.
Okay, so I just want to let y'all know I love y'all. This is a beautiful platform. You know, it's a peace in the air. I love it. Man, let me shut my mouth because I'll stop preaching.
Well, I like knows you crazy. My man. I want to say thank you for the bravery and the souls that you have, that you're sharing with us about your pain, about your son and your husband and your son. And I'm pretty sure that you carry with you, and it's your testimony. And it's for other mothers and other fathers who have suffered this and don't know how to express it, can hear your story and maybe encourage them to develop their own verbiage to tell somebody else. And what I took from this whole thing today, I'm gonna read it because I had to write it down between everybody's words. It says, I guess the solution that we have, where we can start from, is be the change you want to see.
Yep.
Our actions are like a frequency or a currency of water. Like you drop a pebble in the water, it ripples out, and we don't know who we affect.
Yep.
If it's that one,
True.
you feel me? So I guess it's more or less like Miss Janet said earlier. It's not only talk about the issue, but we have to be love, demonstrate love, and stay consistent with that love. And that's what you're doing, Tony, with the garden, keeping your son's memory alive. And I rode by there many a times down there. So I saw it. I'm like, wow. I'm like, that's awesome. It's awesome.
You know, William, I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
I
go
could
ahead.
have, the owner of that building knew my son. And he didn't ask, he could care less. Once I said, can I put something up? He's like, yeah, absolutely. I love Big Mike. I could have put a big old picture of my son's face up there. I could have been very selfish, but I wanted to affect change. Like I said, for everybody that drives through that neighborhood, walks to that neighborhood, goes to the store, I wanted to affect every single person that looked at that wall or looked at a flower and thought, oh my gosh, those are so pretty, you know? So that was my mission. I could have been very selfish about it because I am very selfish about mine, but it's bigger than me. This is bigger than me. So I wanted to make sure I affected everybody in my hood. And I hope I did.
It's constant. It's constantly moving. You don't know how far it outreached. It could have been somebody that was going to go kill somebody, saw that, they changed their mind.
I hope so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I really appreciate everybody's time, uh, their testimonies, and I might have to go sit on the couch by myself and let this marinate a little bit because this thing is deep. This
This
is
was
really
good.
deep.
I love the
Yeah,
conversation. I
it's
loved
deep.
it.
And even though we had like maybe 14 other people planned, I think people who were here today were supposed to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if there's any more questions, you can ask them now because it's being recorded. Like I said, if you have any statements you want to make, any declarations you want to make, it's recorded so other people are going to see it that couldn't make it. And it's
Can
always
we get
going
the
to be,
video, Will?
yeah, it's going to be either YouTube, or I can email it to you, or either it's going to be on my Facebook page.
Okay, you might have to edit that thing I showed.
Don't edit it. I got mine on my hip. Do
Oh
what
my
you do,
God.
bro.
Everybody got one, right?
As long as you legal.
They got,
No, I did not have a gun.
Okay, we got your back.
Listen, my son was like, Ma, you need to get a gun. I did take a class and all of that. And the first time, so the first time I shot the gun, my whole heart sank, but I had to undo 6 shots, right, in order to pass the class. But as soon as I shot that gun, my heart sank because I saw my son's face. And I was like, I don't want a gun. I'm just gonna do it to finish the thing, but I'm done with it. Like, I don't even want it, and if we're talking about how are we gonna get the violence, of course, you want to protect yourself. It's a difference between protecting yourself and then just being out here being frivolous.
Yep.
But we got to be the example of what the kids or what people see. If we can't talk about it if we're not about being about it. And so, like I said, if it's to protect yourself, that's great.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, what are we showing? What are we showing?
I gotta call Dear and tell her she gave me the wrong scripture. She told me God gave us a peace that surpasses all understanding.
Wow. I agree with. I think every parent has that in them to protect them and theirs.
Mm-hmm.
So I do too. So you like that? Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we can all start flashing our tools, but I think we're gonna need to stop there. I think it's getting out of hand.
Okay. I was about to grab
Getting
mine.
out of hand.
Yeah.
Getting out of hand.
Now gonna leave me out.
But yeah, so we have another podcast next week, right, Dave?
Yep.
What we gonna talk about? We talking about business next week, right?
Yeah. The people who survived the COVID, barbershops, nail salon techs,
Okay.
who survived, who didn't survive.
But the week after
Pretty
that,
top
we're
as
going
well.
live. We're going live on set. So we're gonna pay a visit to your garden.
Oh, okay.
All right. So if you want to show up, we're gonna have interviewing people, just randoms.
Oh, I'm gonna
And
show up.
Yeah, we're gonna be there.
I'm gonna show
Can
up.
y'all get us on live? Will,
Yeah,
if I'm not
yeah.
able to be there,
Yeah,
I get
yeah.
the whole frequency music group and we'll do a live. I get spaces in there.
All right, sounds good. So, but if you have any questions concerning what we're doing, you can always go to uepic.biz. This is our app coming out. It's Black developed, Black owned, and Black distributed. So, just support us, pray for us. We're moving out as fast and as strong as we can. So, Mr. Gibbs, I'm telling you, man, when this app drop, it's going to revolutionize the way you do business, bro. And I know you do business well. You muted. Can't hear you.
Okay, yeah, no, Will, I was saying I'm definitely have to go check it out,
Yes, sir.
and as much as I can, I keep my dollars black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Brother, I'm gonna definitely try to support it, man. You'll be surprised. A lot of stuff in my community that black people got going on doesn't even necessarily, I'll say I can't use it, but I still support it.
Right.
Because I know it takes funds and financing to keep things going. And because I want to see you win, I'll still plant a seed with you. I'll still invest in you. You see. So I'm gonna definitely check it out, Will, to see what he
Yes,
got
sir.
going on. And if it's for me, man, I'm on it.
Bro, it's gonna bless you, bro. It's gonna bless
That's
you.
it.
I know
So-
I'm all the way with it, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm on my way. No, I was just saying I'm on my way back to the shop. I had clients. I actually ran off on them, to be honest, for this call because I missed you last week, Will, and I'm like, man, I gave the man my word. This is what I'm gonna do. So I'm a hot tail it back to the shop. But I just want y'all to know, man, this meeting has been a blessing to me. I gathered and briefly, like real quick, I gathered a whole lot of understanding. It's funny how we can discuss one thing and I can get understanding about 6 or 7 other things, Yeah, but that's how the spirit works. That's how the spirit moves. Right. That's how the spirit operates. You guys have been a blessing to me. Y'all been a blessing to my spirit. And everybody go in peace, go in blessing. Expect to win each and every day. Expect to win and operate on purpose.
Expect to win.
And that's all I have to say is nothing but love. I love all you guys. I don't think we got to know each other, have an intimate relationship to love. I love you, and I tell you I love you because I love you. You are my brothers and sisters, and I love you for that.
Yeah, we love you too, brother. We love you too. And I want to conclude by saying, we all win. We must come together collectively. Will has explained that I have a huge networking system, and it's mainly like brothers and sisters, like in this room. You know what I mean? We come together with our businesses, or if you don't have business, we help you create a business because we're legacy builders. So we need to come together collectively and do something for one another. And there was a lot of food in this room. I enjoyed it. I ate a lot. And hopefully I was much usage because I try to make sure that I'm committed of being a tool, for the deliverance of edification. So hopefully somebody got fed, by me being used. And Brother Will, man, I rock with you, brother. You always doing great things, man. Love all of y'all.
Love you soon. All right. Is everybody good?
Yeah.
All right. God bless everybody. We love y'all. Stay
All right. Love you too, bro. Thanks.
All right. Bye.